Welcome back to ForzaNaples. I'm Ian. That's Paul. We're a little sad here. FC Naples has lost 3 straight league games, only 2 straight when you factor in the Jägermeister Cup. But FC Naples losing 2-1 to the Portland Hearts of Pine on Saturday afternoon up in Maine. Paul, where do we even start with this one?
Yeah, 3-game losing streak is not the way to um, stay atop the table. Dropping 9 points, it's tough, especially a team that this game specifically, the fix was almost in. You're missing a few key guys. You get an early cheap red card. Yeah, it was a tough one. Another wet pitch. Yeah, I just don't really quite know where to go. So I'll let you lead off with your thoughts.
Yeah, so we knew it was going to be tough after Wednesday, which I had seen be called a water polo match just based on the pitch, and
Nice.
that was pretty accurate. Just a real sloppy game, and then at the end we had that big scuffle. I don't know what you even want to call it at this point, but losing Delgado, Dangler, we saw both of them get red cards. Apparently, Onan was also shown a red card. We didn't see that on the broadcast. We both watched it a couple times trying to figure out what had happened. Suspension report comes out. Onan's named, and then we looked at the box score on USLLeague1.com. Onan still wasn't on there, so somehow Onan picked up a phantom red card. It now shows that he did get a red card, so we don't really know what happened. Still don't really know what happened. Would love if USL released the referees' reports. I'd love to read that and take their words for it. But yeah, we knew it was going to be tough missing 3 key players. I think we said in the match preview before Portland, Onan was going to be huge using his pace down the wing. We don't have him. Unfortunate. I think the team kind of knew that going in. I thought the team named was actually pretty strong, actually very strong, and I thought we came out really well. And then to start this game off, we've got a backup goalkeeper in Serrano, hasn't played yet this season. He looked good for about 7 minutes. Didn't really have much to do. Gets sent off again. Kind of another phantom red card. I'm sure we'll get to the referee in a few minutes, but getting sent off 8 minutes in with your backup goalkeeper, and we've talked about how great of a leader Delgado is at the back all season. His presence back there, both with his feet and just directing traffic, has been off the charts. So we knew we were going to be in for a tough time at the back, especially missing our one of our key center backs and Delgado. So now you've got Serrano in there. I'm sure he worked with the team, has been working with the team. Yeah, he gets sent off 7 minutes in. It looked like he had gotten fouled. Referee calls the foul, and then as he's getting up, it seemed like she indicated that he stomped on the Portland player. I didn't see any protest from the Portland player. I've watched this way too many times, so it's all kind of starting to blend together. But nonetheless, you kind of have to play with the hand you're dealt. A tough call to make 7 minutes into a match to send someone off if you're not sure that he stomped on the player. But man, it's really tough. So on comes Tony Halterman, who's our 3rd string keeper and also goalkeeper coach. And to his credit, he came in and played very well, I thought. Made the saves he had to make, a couple big saves, came and claimed a few balls, was great at directing traffic. We kind of see where Delgado gets it from. But from that point of Serrano getting sent off, it seemed to be all Portland. They were just running rampant at us, had a couple big chances off of set pieces. We did well to deal with them, but it kind of seemed like it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, and we both officiate, so I don't want to get on the train of blaming officials for losses, but that one certainly, I think you can point to a lot of things that were poor decisions, from the red card to Henderlong's 2 yellows that get him sent off. Now he'll be suspended. Going back to the Knoxville penalty that beat us, that was a really soft call. So I don't want to get into the business of blaming officials, but more pointing out kind of, I think you said it early on. This is a developmental league in a way for the players and officials. So
Right.
it's a way for, you know, poor officiating should be expected, and really never thought, it's very easy to see how refs impact other sports, right? Miss, pass interference in football, or holdings, or foul calls in basketball. But really in soccer, just how you deal out yellow cards, proves to be, maybe in the ref's mind, they're not thinking the yellow card to Henderlong at midfield is a big deal. And then he goes in hard for a second challenge. And it's very easy to argue that neither of those should be yellows, or maybe the second one is his first yellow. Um, and then obviously I'm prepared to call it a phantom red card on the keeper. Um, playing 10 versus 11 for 82 minutes between two squads that drew early in the year. At that point, I think we were both saying we would have taken a point at the start. I think, in the ninth minute, you're begging for a point at that point, and it's tough to get put behind the eight ball like that.
Yeah, I think we both said in the preview podcast leading up to it, we'd take a point. And then you get a keeper sent off. You're playing with 10 men. It's 82 minutes of 10v11 on their home pitch. They've got home field advantage, a wet surface that they've kind of been used to because they live in and play in Portland, and it seems to rain every single day in Portland, Maine, and probably Portland, Oregon for that fact. It's tough, especially when we're already missing three of our key starters that have been instrumental to getting us to where we are today. The club's first signing, Dangler, who's just been so solid in that back line that has been great all season, and Delgado, who's the club captain. It's tough. I will say it seemed to be very inconsistent, the refereeing, and just kind of all over the place in both ways. Like they had, I think it was Vinberg for them around 40th minute is what I wrote down, and he came in for a challenge and just kind of collided with Halterman, and that was a yellow, and I didn't think that was a yellow. 40th minute, just too early for that kind of stuff. Clearly just incidental, like he's trying to get out of his way. Halterman comes and claims it and kind of goes through him and gives out it's a foul all day, but to be a yellow, I don't know. And maybe that was, oh shoot, I sent off their goalkeeper. I got to show them, yeah, I care. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going through the referee's head. It's a decision and something we'll never really know the answer to. But yeah, unfortunate. And yeah, I did think both Heckenberg's okay, fine. I think it was a tactical foul there in the 30th minute, his first yellow. Then Henderlong's first one was a simple foul at midfield and barely makes any contact. I think the guy fell into the advertising boards, but again, it's wet. The foul was nowhere near the advertising boards. I don't see how it's a yellow. And I don't know if something was said afterwards. Again, we don't know. We're watching the game on ESPN Plus, which the broadcast was great quality, but you don't know everything that's going on, right? And it's just frustrating. Frustrating is the key word I take out from it.
And I wonder if that is going to be something we're going to see this year with how physical. And I imagine that there's already a reputation around us that we play a physical game, and refs want to give early yellows to show they mean business. But you still mentioned some of the fouls that are so ticky-tack that, yes, they're a foul, but let's play on. Doesn't need to result with a booking. And, and it really does for people who aren't, avid soccer fans, watchers, whatever you want to call yourself. How you defend players running down the wings and stuff, if you're on a yellow versus not on a yellow, is drastically different. And, it goes back to their second goal. Once again, almost looked like the team is afraid to make any sort of contact out of fear that they're going to point to the spot. Which is something that you at this point, I think you're gonna have to live with that. You can't let a guy get that many clean touches and a clean look. And it was a phenomenal strike.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from his goal, but the defense can't allow that much time and space. And I think that being concerned of the ref being able to point to the spot, and it's so funny because Pulisic came out and said he'd eliminate VAR altogether. I'm actually one of the few people it seems like that is a fan of VAR, and I'm a fan of getting the calls right. I think I was watching, it might have been the Forest game the other day where it looked like it was a clear penalty in the box, and then you see the replay, and the keeper didn't make any contact. I don't think it was the Forest game. Just the
No.
different game I was watching, but yeah, the keeper comes in hard, looks like he fouls. The guy takes a dive, and from the ref's point of view, it's a foul all day. I thought it was a foul. Then you see the replay, and he clearly doesn't even touch him. Um, that's something that's probably nowhere near. VAR is probably nowhere near USL one. I don't think we will ever see that. But you can't be afraid of the ref pointing to the spot, um, because they've been calling tic tac fouls all day. And that's something that's happened. And maybe that was a lesson that they got from the one Knoxville game when the guy goes down softly in the box and you lose 1-0 because of a soft penalty.
Yeah, I think in both cases too, both of their goals, because ended up scoring 43rd minute. Kamara, he had just came on about a little over 10 minutes before he scored. He just way too much time off a set piece. Ball comes across, and I think he takes 3 touches before he finishes it. And that's way too many touches to have in your own box. And he just kind of got free. And I think that shows we are missing, Delgado and Dengler kind of organizing everything back there. No one really picked him up. And it's unfortunate. We sent too many guys to the ball. The ball trickles out, gets to him. And you can't allow anyone in this league to take 3 touches in your box that close to goal, because he's going to finish it. And it was the same thing then with their second goal with Valera. Same thing. We've got Perpa, who's not. I hope he doesn't mind me saying he's not a natural defender. He's a great midfielder, and he was probably our best player on the day. But you've got him trying to defend him, and he just kind of gets caught out, and it's a great finish, puts it top bins. Unfortunate, but again, we can't allow guys like that who that was probably their best player too on the day, Valera, to take that many touches in the box, because they will punish us. And I don't know if you're right, if it was I don't want to dive in here and risk giving up a penalty, or if it was just confusion almost at the back. Because both, when you're playing with 10 guys, it makes defending, you're a man down, right? Like in hockey, you're on the penalty kill. It's tough, really tough. I did think, though, coming out of halftime, obviously sucks. I always have said it's the worst to give up a goal in the last 5 minutes of the first half and the first 5 minutes of the second half. Because as a coach, you've got your whole halftime team talk all set up and you're ready to go. And then they score, and everything you have planned for has gone out the window. And that's exactly what they did. 43rd minute, and it was kind of coming from the moment the red card happened. It was all them putting pressure on us, and then eventually Kamara scores, gave him too much time in the box. 43rd minute, and then I'm just thinking, watching it, okay, get us to halftime, 1-0, get us to halftime 1-0, and it could have been 2-0 right after that. They kept pouring on the pressure there in the last few minutes of the half. We're lucky to kind of get out of there 1-0. Could have easily been 2-0 from all the pressure they were applying. But then we come right out of the second half swinging. 50th minute, we have a huge chance for Perpa. He can't finish it. 52nd minute, I mean, we were just laying chance after chance after chance. Perpa finally gets one and finishes it, kind of trickles across the line, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And then again, we kind of keep putting the pressure on them. Just a real strong second half, and that's something we were talking about last week too in the preview podcast, is how are we going to respond coming off a tough 3-1 loss. And I thought that was the response we needed to see for 90 minutes, though, not just this span of 25 minutes to start the second half.
Yeah, again, long season. There's going to be down periods. There's going to be a losing streak. And there have been positives that have come out of all the games right? Like we kind of threw away the Red Wolves game, terrible pitch, fine. The one Knoxville game, fine. You lose on the penalty. It's time to put the lid on it, get back to, the winning ways. We have an opportunity this week with a bottom of the table team at home. This is where, if you want to be top of the table, you get 3 points against the bottom of the table, and we have that opportunity Saturday, I think,
Sunday,
or
Sunday,
Sunday.
Sunday.
I think Portland's it's a good team. One Knoxville, good team. The Red Wolves, they seem like they're going to be kind of that pesky mid-table. Not really any chance of winning it, but they're also, because there's no relegation, but clear of the relegation zone, just kind of that mid-table team that causes everybody problems. And now you get the opportunity Sunday to take care of business.
Yeah, it's Union. The thing that kind of scares me about Sunday, and I was trying to do my best WWE/Monster Truck ad reader going Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. We got to have a little bit of fun. It's too depressing coming off of 3 straight league losses. Let's get back to the winning ways here. But Union Omaha, defending league champions, they've been off to a really slow start. Played 6 games. They've only won 1, drawn 2, and lost 3. They somehow lost to Texoma 2-1 at the weekend. They drew with Hearts the week before 2-2. So kind of a strange team. I think they should be a lot better than they are right now. They just kind of haven't found their groove. So it'll be interesting to see how we stack up. Assuming Serrano and Henderlong are going to be suspended, I'm hoping there's some kind of appeal process for both of those. Although I doubt it. Leagues can tend to not suspend players because you appeal. No idea what that process looks like. Again, we haven't seen the USL League One handbook, unfortunately. Not that we'd actually read it. But yeah, Omaha, I think, is going to be a tough test for us on Sunday. Again, I'd love to see us kind of get off of this slide and get back to our winning ways, especially at home. Only home game of the month. It's time to let's turn things around. Let's turn the ship around.
And the 3-game skid is a little deceptive because I when I looked at it, I was surprised because you do mix in the Jägermeister Cup win.
Yeah, I think we're already forgetting about that, and we beat a really good championship side, but that's a team we need to see on Sunday.
Yeah, and again, it's 3 games, long season, and I think all gets forgotten with a win Sunday. The kind of the move forward. Hey, quick little skid. A lot of travel, a lot of other things, a long layoff, crappy conditions. We're back home, familiar territory. We're going to be on the turf, so the conditions we're going to see. Portland's a hostile environment to go into. Good fan base there. I didn't see the numbers, but their numbers so far have been
over 5,000. That was their second ever league home game, and they sold it out. Huge crowd.
Could have been 2 more if your wife would have agreed to your
could have been
brilliant idea.
I'm kind of glad we didn't go, seeing how the game went and how the weather looked online.
Is there anything worse than being hyped up for a big game that your team's playing in, and then like you go and it's just like a disappointing result, either a blowout or like, I think you can live with a heartbreaker, but what would you rather see if you go as a fan excited for a game, your team getting blown out or a heartbreaking loss? What are your
Probably a heartbreaking loss, because it's a lot easier, I think, to be like, oh my gosh, that was so, like, in the moment it sucks, but it's so much easier to say, oh, like 1 or 2 bounces going this way or this way, and that game's ours. But if you get blown out by, like, I'm a proud Stetson Hatter alum and going to a lot of their basketball games, a lot of blowouts. And when you lose by 60 in a basketball game, there's no, oh, we're going to get you guys next time. So I'd say close loss.
Yeah, I think, and it really goes back to, and I think I wouldn't say the players, perform poorly. Like I don't think that there's anything that you're questioning on the effort side, which is a positive in and of itself, right?
Right.
They're
Yeah.
playing hard, um, and things aren't falling our way. The hockey term of puck luck. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. I'm sure there's a soccer term that I'm yet to learn, but that's we don't have the puck luck right now, and you know if you keep playing hard, eventually things are going to go your way. You're going to get the bounces. Like you said, there were a couple bounces in that, shortly after halftime where they get deflected the other way, or end up on the right foot, and it's a different ball game. So, you know, as down and melancholy as this episode has been, right? Like, very energetic. It's a long season, and it's good to
Right.
be disappointed right now, but still a lot of optimism here. That these guys are going to figure it out. Matt Pullen is going to get it right. I think that the league is adjusting a little bit to what we did early, and we've made some adjustments as well. So we'll continue to do those things, and the opportunity on Sunday to, it's a get right spot.
Yeah.
I think the tone changes if we lose Sunday. I think then some questions start getting asked, even without Henderlong, who, the backup keeper. I don't think we're going to miss him on Sunday with Delgado back, but losing Henderlong is going to be tough, but not an excuse to not get 3 points at home against the bottom of the table team.
Yeah, we still have, I think, 24 games remaining, and that includes 3 Jägermeister games. So a lot of soccer to still be played. And if you're gonna have a bad run of form, I think now's the time to have it. A lot of soccer left. You don't want to have this. We want to get into the playoffs, obviously, but once we're in the playoffs, we don't want to have this going into playoff matches where it's win or go home, right? I think now's the time to kind of have this skid. Okay, let's shake it all out, get it out of our system, and we move on. And I think you're absolutely right. With Sunday's got to be a get right game. And even if we don't pick up all 3 points, if we get a point and just say, okay, hey, we got a point, we're going back into the Jägermeister Cup now, where we've already beaten, Charleston. We're playing a Miami team that somehow keeps winning in the championship, even though I think they get about 6 people to each of their games. But hey, let's go beat another USL championship side, and then get back right in the league. Long year, but yeah, Sunday's got to be a get right game.
And another goal scorer, right? That was his first or second? Second?
Herpa, yeah, I think it was his second goal of the season, but I mean, he had so many chances too, just
Mm-hmm.
to start off the second half. So definitely looking for him to step up and really fill the shoes while Henderlong's out.
Yeah, so and I think you're right. You said it early on, right? The squad did look good. You had 3 replacement players, 4 if you count the third string keeper, and it gives you the hope that, hey, if some injuries or more suspensions, I imagine that this is going to be a constant battle for us all year. Is we're going to be playing down a man here and there, just between red cards and accumulations. It's going to be
Yeah,
something that
and
we have
even
to overcome.
injuries, like you said,
Yep.
it's a long season, and it's we're already seeing it here in Naples. It's hot.
Hmm.
It's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of cramps and
And
just
even when the
sore.
squad's fully fit, everybody's available, in these June games, you're not going to be able to go for 90 minutes.
No.
The midfielders are going to be, dog tired in the 95-degree heat, even with the late kickoffs. I wouldn't even hate if kickoffs moved back an hour just to try to get even less sunlight, less heat, but it's still going to be, 85 to 90 degrees, late in games. So the good news is it's our home area that should be an advantage, um, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely thought, just to call out a couple players, I thought Gustavo Fernandez looked really good as a center back, as that second center back there. That really kind of reassured me seeing him play as well as he did. Even on a yellow card, I think he got a yellow card right at the end of the first half. I thought he played terrific. And then Cerro going out to the wing. We've seen him in that position quite a few times, but I thought he had some pace. And then O'Connor as well was kind of all over the pitch, taking set pieces, whipping set pieces into dangerous areas, something we had asked to see earlier in the year. I thought he looked really good. And then when Torres came on too after the 75th minute, he looked good for the 2 minutes before Henderlong got sent off, and then that kind of I think just sent a shockwave through the whole squad. But yeah, Purple was man of the match for me, getting the goal and then just solid performance all around. So excited to see what he can bring going into this next match against Omaha.
What are your thoughts for? Is there anything tactically you think that we should be looking for come Sunday?
It's I'm looking forward to having Onan back, because I think Onan and Farine really bring something special down both wings, just with that pace. And then set pieces have seemed to improve every single week. All the set pieces this week, we seem to be shaking their marking, especially like I keep saying right after halftime. Every single set piece we had looked dangerous, and even before, I think we had one right before, like a 23rd minute, like just a free kick from midfield, and we made it. We kind of created a chance out of it. So just trying to punish them more off of set pieces, making those more advantageous to us, and then just seeing that pace down the wings, which I am curious if we try anything new, given that teams have kind of figured us out and trying to take away that pace down the wings and then just playing balls across. But it seems that's how, because I've become a USL sicko now, that's how Texoma scored, I think, one of their goals against Omaha. So if Texoma can do it against Omaha, so should we? I don't know. I don't know how that's going to translate.
Yeah, it'll definitely be good getting, again, we're going to be down Henderlong, but I do think Onan is probably one of our most important players. I think that he plays just with a pace that puts so much pressure, and he kind of ends up everywhere. Plays both sides fairly well, and it's just a great release valve for the back line of, hey, I can just kick it in this general direction, and odds are Onan's going to win the ball.
Yeah.
So I think him being back is going to be a good is going to be good for us. There's nothing but optimism on my end here that Sunday is going to be the get right spot. I'd like to see us put in 2 or 3 goals. Um, kind of was that Texoma that we played that I kind of had the same kind of vibe then, and they went out, I think, 1-3-0. So
Yep.
it's kind of the same effort and result that I'm looking for Sunday.
Yeah, last time we played Portland, we turned around and then went to Texoma the following week after a Open Cup match against Little Rock Rangers, and yeah, we kind of put it on, like poured it onto Texoma, and I think you're right. I'd like to see that the same thing happen. The Texoma game too, we really seem to involve the midfield a lot more, and that's another thing I think we've kind of been lacking. We keep trying to play these long balls forward and getting we O'Connor, Torres, Perpa now, all of those guys have proven they're great players through the middle. And it's kind of been odd. We've been almost skipping them. And we did that again on Saturday afternoon, it seemed, until Perpa kind of took over the match. So kind of getting that midfield more involved, moving the ball through all 3 levels and not just knocking it long, although knocking it long has also worked. So I don't know, maybe we try both at the same time. It'll be interesting. But yeah, coming home, big match. Hopefully a big crowd. Memorial Day weekend. I can't wait to get back. I've still got chips that are burning a hole in my pocket here. I need some more FC Naples Blonde. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, me and Casey were talking. I was like, I think I've been to more games. Because you've missed last 2 home matches.
Yeah, I
Um,
miss Charleston and miss Knoxville, which it's weighed very heavily on
you
me that I've
missed the
not been there.
Rowdies too.
And the rowdies, yeah. This whole
So
full-time job thing keeps getting in the way, and then having to go to a
that's
wedding.
ridiculous. So if there's anybody that wants to hire us to just cover FC Naples for full time, would totally be willing to listen to job offers. So um, yeah, sitting in.
Yes.
If I could make a living sitting in the beer garden, watching, taking notes, and commentating my thoughts after the game, I don't think there's a better life than that.
No, no, definitely not. Especially critiquing these professional athletes that
Hmm.
we could never have never really succeeded in doing that. I mean, both of us have had our fair share of great athletic achievements.
Yeah, I have
From
a couple roller hockey trophies on my shelf that say otherwise here. I did experience that level of success at the U8 level, so
Yes,
um,
yeah. I
the
mean,
glory
I
days.
did win the Region C Florida championship of U14, so I'm a pretty big deal.
Pretty big deal. So that those are the credentials for our critiques of. Um, I don't think any of our critiques have been anywhere near. There's been no shade thrown this week. Yeah, yeah, I'm expecting a great atmosphere Sunday. I will unfortunately be on a cruise. Um, so I'm not sure what my access to ESPN Plus will be. Um, and I'll also have no cell service, so maybe I'll just watch the game. Apparently, there's people out there that do that. That's what I was advised to do for the Forest game on Sunday when I was in DC, uh, visiting friends. That hey, like you don't have to watch the game, and you can watch it later. And I was like, yeah, that's not. So maybe there are people
No.
out there that do that. This would be like the lone opportunity because I'll be in an area with no reception or anything. So yeah.
Yeah, I did do that with the Charleston game because we were at a wedding and it was one of those no phones weddings,
Mm.
where they wanted us to, which I mean, I applaud, right? Like it was actually really nice. But
Was
checking
that
the
no
score
phones
on
at the
my
reception either, or just the wedding?
correct,
Like
yeah, no, no, they
both?
didn't want any phones at all
The whole night.
the whole night.
Good
Which
on
which
them.
yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. But then checking the score on my way out of the wedding to see we had won 1-0 was awesome. And then the flight home, that is how I spent it. Was watching them on ESPN Plus. It was great. Is the best flight home. Flight flew by, even though there was like 15 minutes of added time to the second half, but flew by. It was great.
Yeah, so to put a bow on our conversation a couple of weeks ago, BWI is on the bottom tier of my airports. So not to go off the rail. I know the listeners don't love our airport talk, but I think I was high on BWI. That has moved well down my list after flying through there on Sunday.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, coming out of DC for graduation, not impressive.
No, no, it was not. And I don't need to blast my brother's school for the poor performance that they put on Saturday. Luckily, I had the FA Cup on my phone, so the graduation was not a no phones. And yeah, when you're just reading 1,300 names at a snail's pace, yeah, got to watch the
That's
entire FA Cup. After my brother walked, and they were still calling names when the FA Cup championship had ended. So that was my Saturday in the heat.
yeah, graduations. I think you need like one cool speaker and then you have your president or principal whoever say a couple remarks and then that should be it. And then you should just have the family be there for when the person's name is called. That's my hot take on graduations. You don't need every single person's family there to see every person walk across the stage. Overrated, in my opinion.
I'm gonna guess that there's gonna be another lull in the season where we can really take a deep dive into graduations and how if I was the event coordinator that would have been a flawless event. So we can save the rest of my thoughts for another lull in the season.
I'm excited for that because we don't just criticize, USL League One referees, players, managers. We also criticize graduation event coordinators here and airports, a favorite topic of ours. We criticize everyone and everything here at Forza Naples.
And I think we're so good at it, people probably do think it's our full-time job.
Probably.
Because because the thing is, we don't just criticize, we give solutions on how it could be better. So
Yes.
that's what makes it productive. So
Yes. We're actively improving society here at Forza Naples, and we are proud to be doing it.
community leaders on and off the field, that's the club's motto, and we're just trying to follow suit.
Yes. Yes.
What but
I think if you give us enough time and maybe enough alcohol, we could have the entire world. We could have world peace easily if you just left the two of us to it.
What final thoughts for Sunday? What give me your score line prediction.
I'm going to go 2-0 Naples. I think it's a get-right game for us. I think Omaha seems to be struggling. Also a get-right game for Omaha, but they've got more work to do coming on the road and coming off a big loss against Texoma. They've not really proven that they can do it yet this season where we have. So I'm going to go 2-0 Naples. I think Perpa gets one, and I think O'Connor's going to find one just outside the top of the D. Another goal from outside the area. 2-0 Naples. Final answer.
Yeah, I'm going 3-0. I think it's important not only to score goals, but I think the back line, keeping a clean sheet would also go. I think at the end of the day, and I hate when people say cliches like this where like, oh, if we just got to score more points than the other team. It's like, yeah, that's how sports work. You score more points, you win. I think I would I was going to say something real dumb, but I think keeping the clean sheet's the most important aspect of this game. I was going to say I'd take a 0-0 draw over like a 3-2 win, but that's just dumb because I want 3 points. But I think step one is keeping the clean sheet. Step two is putting, a plethora of goals, 3-4. Would love to see a breakout, a little 5-piece from the lads, but I'm going to stick with 3-0 FC Naples in our get right spot.
I love it. Yeah. Sign me up for that right now. Just honestly 3 points I'd take. But I think you're right. 3-0. Okay, let's figure this out. Well, let's remember how we've been playing this whole season and really just take it to them.
I'm going to let the USL know that, hey, we don't need to play any more games. If you just agree to give us 3 points in all of the games, we're good. We don't need to play anything. Just give us 3 points. We're good. We'll take them.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. And USL, I know the whole league office listens to this show, so if you're listening, reach out to us and see if we can make that deal work. Shout out to the USL team. I'm sure they're listening to this right now. Paul, anything else before we go?
No, I think the boys are in a spot where Sunday's important. I do really think that the tone of the podcast will shift if we don't get 3, and certainly if we don't get a minimum of 1. So, and I think they know that. Not to put too much pressure on an early season game, but when you want to be the best, you need to get 3 points at home against the bottom tier teams.
Agreed. And even 3 points at home against the defending champions, even though they're in the bottom of the table right now, getting 3 points against the defending champions and kind of a staple in USL League One would be absolutely huge. So on that note, thank you so much again for listening. Be sure to follow us on social media, ForzaNaplesPod. Email the show, ForzaNaples239. We're on BlueSky now, too. I made a BlueSky account for us. I didn't know what that was until a couple weeks ago, but apparently a couple of the other USL League One shows are on there. So follow us on BlueSky. Keep listening to us. If there's anything you'd like to hear us talk about or not talk about, like airports, please get in touch with the show. We love hearing from you. And come say hi in the beer garden. From all of us here at Forza Naples, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you soon.